Nothing discomfited men like James Wedderburn more than a black woman with a voice. Controlling speech, who was allowed to speak to whom and how and when they were allowed to do it, was an integral aspect of maintaining the racialized social order in any slave society. Transgressive speech was feared by slaveholders for good reason. Insurrections in the Caribbean almost always began with whispers, murmurs, and rumors. As we will see, conspiracies were the great terror of the Jamaican colonial elite throughout the 1760s. But these two extremes, speech as a tool of planter oppression and speech as a facilitator of resistance, only tell part of the story about language and enslaved life in the Caribbean. There were other ways to negotiate power dynamics through speech. For most enslaved people, and especially enslaved women, choosing their words carefully around enslavers was an important survival skill. In other cases, talking out of turn, being deliberately saucy or impudent, concealing what had been said, or even hurling insults, were among the most common ways to register a challenge to an unequal social relationship. This is not in itself quite the same thing as resistance to enslavement, but it undermined the fiction that slaveholders commanded respect beyond their capacity to enforce it through violence. As he grew up, Robert learned the power that lay in the grey areas between permitted and unpermitted speech from his grandmother, Amy. He recalled her as a formidable woman who said what she pleased and was unafraid of white planters, including his father. Indeed, her loquacity was so renowned that it had become part of her identity. No woman was perhaps better known in Kingston than my grandmother, by the name of Talky Amy, signifying a chattering old woman. His characterization was more affectionate than dismissive. In fact, Robert deeply respected the words of older enslaved women. When, in 1817, he penned some advice to his dear countrymen in Jamaica on how they should run the island once they had overthrown the plantocracy, he suggested that women over the age of 50 should sit as counselors and arbitrate local disputes. "Do not despise the judgment of old women," he wrote, "for they are generally clear in their perceptions